What is the difference between the stories of most ancient cultures, today's popular culture, and the account of the biblical creation? Today is day two of this week's lesson, in which we learn the value of what God did for us in terms of rest at creation. Our key text for this week is found in Genesis 2, verse 3, the New King James Version. And it says, "Then God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it he rested from all his work which God had created and made." It's Genesis 2, verse 3, the New King James Version. The title of this week's lesson is Prelude for Rest. God was there at the beginning. The Lord spoke, and it was. Light divides day from night. Firmament, sky, and seas are spoken into existence on the second day. Dry land and vegetation follow on the third day. God forms the basic framework of time and geography, and then he fills it during the next 3 days. Light governs the sky by day and by night. Different from the stories of most ancient cultures, the biblical creation account makes it abundantly clear that the sun, the moon, all the stars are not deities. They enter into the picture only on the fourth day and are subject to the Creator's word. Moses' description of day 5 and 6 is full of life and beauty. The birds, the fish, the land animals, they all fill the space prepared by God. As we read the account of Genesis chapter 1 through 31, we discover God's evaluation of his first 6 days of creation. I'm reading this account from the New King James Version, and it starts in verse 1, and it says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Then God said, 'Let there be light,' and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So the evening and the morning was the first day. Then God said, 'Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters.' Thus God made the firmaments and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. So the evening and the morning were the second day. Then God said, 'Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place. Let the dry land appear,' and it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gatherings together of the water he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, 'Let the earth bring forth grass, the herbs that yield seeds, the fruit tree that yields fruit according to its kind, whose seed is in itself on the earth,' and it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, the herbs that yield seeds according to its kind, and the tree that yield fruit, whose seeds is in itself according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. So the evening and the morning were the third day. Then God said, let there be light in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and seasons and for days and years. And let them be for light in the firmament of the heavens to give light on earth. And it was so. Then God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. God set them in the firmament of the heavens to give light on the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was so. So the evening and the morning were the fourth day. Then God said, let the waters abound with an abundance of living creatures, and let the birds fly above the earth across the face of the firmaments of the heavens. So God created the great sea creatures and every living thing that moves with which the waters abound according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let the birds multiply on the earth. So the evening and the morning were the fifth day. Then God said, let the earth bring forth the living creatures according to its kind, cattle and creeping things and beasts of the earth, each according to its kind. And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth according to its kind, cattle according to its kind, and everything that creeped on the earth according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth on the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. Then God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it, have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the air and over every living thing that moves on the earth. And God said, see, I have given you every herb that yields seeds, which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seeds, to you it shall be for food. Also to every beast of the earth, to every bird of the air, and to everything that creeps on the earth in which there is life, I have given every herb for food. And it was so. Then God saw everything that he had made, and indeed it was very good. So the evening and the morning was the sixth day. This is not just any space that God has created. You can see that it's a perfect place. It was very good. Swarming creatures fill the earth. Like the refrain of a catchy tune, God keeps saying it was good after each day. Different from the rest of the created world, we find in Genesis 1, 26 and 27, and Genesis 2, 7, 21 and 24, that when God created humanity, God stooped and began to shape mud. God created humanity in his likeness. Humanity created in God's image and in his likeness demonstrates his intimacy and closeness to us as humans. God bent down breathed life into Adam's nostrils, and he became a living being. Eve's special creation from Adam's ribs adds another important element to the creation week. It demonstrates the intimacy and closeness of the relationship between the husband and the wife. You see, marriage is part of God's design for humanity. It is a sacred trust of partnership between Ish and Isha, man and woman. This time, when God looked at everything he made on the sixth day, the refrain sounds different. Then God saw everything that he had made, and indeed it was very good. Now think about it. Think about how radically different the biblical creation story is from what the popular culture is today. Without the guidance of God's word, we could be misguided. This tells me how much we need to depend upon God's word for understanding truth. This concludes today's lesson. Join us tomorrow and look at what God did after he created male and female to ensure that they have rest. Now, if you would like to review a copy of this week's lesson, you can obtain it at ssnet.org. That is ssnet.org. Click on Adult SS and select Weekly Lesson. I ask you to stay tuned to tomorrow as we learn of God's command for rest. And I pray that you have a blessed day and have a great and marvelous week.